Sangyawa kunge yeshe Chikta time gyalten zimbetso Ramjan kilkor gyatso trodug Trinchen lame shabla solwade Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasanad Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasanad Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasanad Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasana Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasana Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Gyana Shasana Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajra Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Locho Sambo Pagyu Rashib Tupche Tempe Trinle Yarmoda Pelge Drolo Zambe Zebrach Pande Lame Shabla Solvade Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasan Vita Vardhani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasan Vita Vardhani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasan Uta Vardhani Shri Bhad Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hung Dagi Chetsun Lama Tuje Nyamda Dala Tuje Siksuso Gebe Shesan Dala Tenduso Oyun Sungi Nawa Tseduso Tsechi Ningne Solwa Debetse Dejen Korlo Visu Lekshune Yila Sambe Dudu Malepa Gemel Hunge Drubra Chingelo Shabetse Dunge Namke Yin Sulekshun Labchen Tsoni Yonso Zobadan Chera Nyedun Chamra Chingelo Chancho Parge Ninsen Tukun Tu Nyu Peme Seudro Lekshun Chancho Drube Gegen Kunshishi Jingelo, Dagelo na Chola Choba dan Chomi Samchurang Imba Shiwada Chodan Tumbe Dudu Malupa Beme Lungi Drubra Jingelo Dorna Tengne Tserawa Tamche dan Techi Pardune Kab Tamche tu Rese Kyamne Lama Kele me Tukche Chingi Dala Siksus Gongyab Dreve Nyamda Dachala Chetsun Lame Tuche Rab Gongne Kodan Sungi Nawa Dralmetu Nyam Sunyongwe Kesan Tobrasho Kewa Kuntu Yanda Lama Dan Dralme Cheki Pelalong Lamge Yunde Rabzun Dorje Change Kopa Nyur Tobe Shoya Pakyuke Kodan Dagilu Pakyuke Sungdan Daginga Pakyuke Tukdan Dagi Ten yerme çıktı çingelo Makyuke kodan dagilo Makyuke sundan dagina Makyuke tukdan dagi Ten yerme çıktı çingelo Oma muni muni Maha muni Shakya muni Svoha Pöke çöşe medo trari rabling she nide gembadi Sange shindu mikte ulvargi Drukun namda shingla chöparasho Guru ratna mandrala kam niryata yami Chedan tsogi chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsoch dagi chenyin gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sangye druparashu. Chedan tsogi chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsoch dagi chenyin gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sangye druparashu. Chedan tsogi chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsuchi dagi chenyen gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sangye druparasho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the merits of listening to the Dharma teachings, may I quickly obtain the state of Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. For the benefit of all sentient beings, may we reach the state of ultimate Buddhahood. And for that reason, we will now listen to the following Dharma teachings. Listen carefully. So now, we have reached this morning. We already finished the oral transmission. We are in the commentary, page 73. This is for the Italian translation, pagina 73 del commentario. According to the subject, we have second, the actual recitation, which is the meaning of the mantra to be recited, the way to be recited, and the divisions of recitations. The first, the meaning of the mantra to be recited. So, we have reached now the part which is of how to recite the actual mantra in the actual sadhana. Now, we are on page 77. At the heart of the blue Tara, in the center of my heart, is a crystal mandala, like a blossoming flower, in the center of which is the syllable tam, marked by the syllable hum, beginning in front and arranged in a circle on a counterclockwise as the 10-syllable mantra. So in the 5 chakras, there are the 5 chakras and the 5 points. As the crown chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, navel and secret chakra, we develop the 5 chakras clearly in each one of the points. At the center of our heart chakra, there is a blue Tara. At the center of the heart of the blue Tara, at the heart chakra, there is a moon disc, which is like the basis of a mandala offering, made of crystal. At the center of it, there is a syllable tam, marked by hum, but as we explained before, in the sadhana is said a tam marked by hum, but according to the lineage of Guru Vajradhara, is actually the hum marked by tam. So in the practice, we need to change it. Normally, when we do the practice, we say hum marked by tam. We can recite in the other way, which you do the practice differently. Generally speaking, both ways are fine. In the commentary saying that both ways are fine. But according to the lineage of our gurus, it says the hum marked by tam. So inside the circle of the tam, of the hum, is the syllable tam. Around of it, starting from the center, here the counterclockwise, the 10-syllable mantra. This is according to the commentary. We're actually in page 68 of the commentary, which is arranging the mantra will at the heart as the subject. So when we do recite the mantras, this is the basis of the visualization. First we place the mantra at the heart. Then we have two different recitations of visualization. The reciting mantra for your own welfare and for the welfare of others. So first next is the visualization for one's own benefit and for the benefit of others. So first start for one's own benefit. Page 70 of the commentary. If we look at the sadhana, it says, beginning of light rays radiate from the deities of the five wills and the mantras rosary, reaching all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions. And all the conquerors, their children, invoke and descend like great rains, dissolving into men, blessing, memento, continue. This is the recitation for one's own welfare and benefit. Then we say, then it continues, once again light rays radiate, reaching all sentient beings. So when we say light rays radiates from the deities of the five chakras, it's from all the five chakras and all the deities. We have a total of 157 taras from the syllable tam, and the home like the strength of 100,000 of suns. Like 100,000 suns shining at the same time. All of this, it goes to the limitless pure lands of all the Buddhas. Oh, as the light rays touches all the Buddhas on all the different lights. At the point, at the tip of some of these lights, it manifests also offering deities that make offerings to all the different Buddhas, outer offerings, inner offerings, secret offerings, all sorts of offerings are made to all the Buddhas. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they develop a state of bliss by receiving such offerings. We imagine mainly that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they experience a state of bliss, of joy. And some of the light rays that emanates from the mantra and from the tam at the heart, again light emanates at the tip of the light rays. As it touches the heart, it touches all the Buddhas, it's basically inviting them, it's like touching their mind. As we make request to all the Buddhas, by the power of such request, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of all the 10 directions, their mind is hooked in a way. And all then the bodies of body, speech, mind, quality and action, gradually they send all their blessings towards us in the appearance of the 5 kataras, the taras of the 5 families, in the form of their bodies, and the mantra tare to the sohan syllables tam, like in the aspect of this and in different the symbols and so on, all the bless of body, speech and mind. In the aspect, it comes in the aspect of the mantra garland and the syllables and the full body of the 5 taras come like a big rain. Like imagine a very strong, once the rain comes to the ground and the ground is dry, the water is absorbed into the ground. Similar to that, all the blessings coming in these different appearances come to us and it's absorbed completely through our whole body. And we imagine that we receive the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. This is called the visualization of the mantra for one's own welfare. This is inside the description of the recitation of the mantra. As it says here, all the conquerors and their children are invoked and descend like a great rain, dissolving into me and blessing memento continuum. So we imagine that we receive all the blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas like a big rain, like a great rain that comes to us, absorbs into us and bless our memento continuum and blesses us. And we do this visualization as we recite the mantra. Another way of reciting the mantra, which we call reciting the mantra for the welfare of others. Once again, light rays radiate, similar as before, as the light radiates. From the 5 chakras, there is a total of 157 taras. From the whole body mandala, light radiates, like 100,000 suns radiating with very strong light. As it radiates, first like starting from our own body, and it expands through the house and through the whole universe, like very vast. By this, as the light radiates, it reaches all sentient beings. If we follow the text itself, page 77, it says, once again, light rays radiates, reaching all sentient beings and purifying their negative karma and obscurations, transforming them all into the aspect of Venerable Mother, and they dissolve into me. This is the visualization of the mantra for the welfare of others. Through the power of the light emanating and touching all sentient beings, all the negativities of every sentient being is completely pacified. All their defilements of body, speech, and mind, the negativities are pacified, and they reach the state of Buddha Aryatara. So all sentient beings, they become in the aspect of Buddha Aryatara, we imagine in such way. This is what we call reciting the mantra for the welfare of others. So if we go in the visualization for the welfare of others, there are different ones. If you go to the sadhana, page 77, on the bottom it says, once again, countless emanations of Venerable Mother at my heart radiate out from the right. Countless emanations of the Mother from the heart chakra, the blue Tara, emanates from the right nostril as we exhale. Before it was an emanation of all the Taras of all the chakras. Now it's especially from the Taras at our heart chakra, as it goes together as we exhale. They go out from the right nostril as we exhale, from the right nostril. As they go out from the right nostril, they especially purify the hatred of the minds that are mostly taken by anger, establish them into the exalted wisdom of the Dharma Dhatu, and leading them to the state of Buddha Akshobhya. They all transform into the blue Taras and proclaim the sound of the mantra together. They all recite the mantra together. Then all the emanations, deities, they come back and reabsorb into our own heart. Then once again, from the crown chakra, from the white Taras, countless Taras go. They purify all ignorance in the minds of all sentient beings, establishing them into the mirror-like exalted wisdom and leading them to the state of Vajravairocana. And in this way, they all transform in the aspect of white Taras, and they proclaim the mantra together with us. And all the deities that emanate from us, they come back and reabsorb back into our crown chakra, into the white Tara at our crown chakra. And after that, from the navel chakra, all the yellow Taras manifest from our navel chakra, purifying the miserliness and the miserliness in the minds of all sentient beings, establishing them in the exalted wisdom of equanimity and leading them to the state of Buddha Ratna Sambhava. They transform into yellow Taras, and together they proclaim the sound of the mantra. Then all the deities that were emanated, they reabsorb back into one's own navel chakra. Then from the throat chakra, from the red Tara at the throat chakra, countless emanations manifest. They purify all attachment, and especially the beings which are mostly afflicted by attachment and desire, bringing them to the state of exalted wisdom of discrimination, and then leading all of them to the state of Amitabha. They all transform into the aspect of red Taras and proclaim the sound of the mantra together with us. The same way, all the emanated deities collect back and dissolve into the deity at our own throat chakra. Then, at the secret chakra, from the green Tara, Countless emanations emanate, they purify all jealousy and all the jealousy in the minds of sentient beings, establishing them into the exalted wisdom of accomplishing wisdom and leading them to the state of Buddha Amoghasiddhi, especially the beings mostly afflicted by jealousy and envy, and the green Taras, emanate and bring them to the state of green Tara, we imagine. They transform into green Taras and proclaim the sound of the mantra together with us. We imagine in this way. And then all the latest Taras that emanate, they reabsorb back once again into our secret chakra. Thus, all the venerable mothers, from the crown, throat, heart, all the 5 chakras, they emanate. They eliminate the main defilements, the 5 defilements of the Buddha, of the sentient beings, bringing them to realize the 5 wisdoms. And then, in this way, thus all venerable mothers transform into the Buddhas of the 5 Buddhist families and proclaim. All sentient beings transform into the Buddha families and proclaim the sound of the mantra. So when we go into the commentary, also into the, once you can go through when the moment there is the manual of the explanation of how to do retreat, it's all very well explained also there. So before making a retreat, it's also good to go through the commentary of how to make the retreat. It's just as here actually. So this is actually enough. So with this, we reach the actual moment of recitation. Tea offering. Yarmada pege drolo zambe zebra. Panden lame shela chopa bu. Again, when the taras from the crown, the navel, and so on, we saw each one came separately. This is also called the visualization related to the practice of the supreme conqueror of the mandala for the welfare of others. So there were 3 subjects, and the last one I was wondering where it has been. So it's this one here. So this last visualization of the emanation of each one of the taras is called the visualization related to the practice of the supreme conqueror of the mandala for the welfare of others. I'm going to give here now the oral transmission of the next part. We are in page 73 of the commentary. So now we're in the part of which the visualization of the mantra recitation. If we make in the middle way of the visualization of the mantra, it is said to follow the first tabuk, Drube Wanju Tempe Gensing. If we look in his teachings, it says to the commentary saying to go to look in that commentaries from the first tabu Drube Druban Tempe Gensing. It says that you need to go to look there, the middle way of reciting. The third part is the actual recitation, page 73 of the commentary. In the moment as we accumulate the mantra, as we are reciting, we do the mantra Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, the 10-syllable mantra. So the subject now, which is called the actual recitation, has three parts: the meaning of the mantra to be recited, the way to recite the mantra, the division of recitation. The meaning of the mantra, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om is the union of three sounds, A, O, Ma, which is symbolized in the Vajra body, speech and mind. So the union of the body, speech and mind, the Vajra body, speech and mind is Om. So is the undivisible Vajra body, speech and mind. By thinking about this meaning, when we say the Om, we should think about this meaning. This is what the Om is symbolizing. Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Tara means the liberating goddess. Tutare means the goddess who liberates from poverty. Ture means swift, quick, swift goddess. This is in one way, it means like reciting different names of Tara. But Chöne Lama Rinpoche, he explains also another meaning, which means Tare, Tutare, Ture, the three different parts, says liberating goddess, the extremely liberating goddess. The first liberating goddess, the first Tare, liberates from the lower realms, like is the small scope, in order to liberate oneself from the lower realms of existence. This is showing the small scope. The second, Tutare, is to liberate from samsara. It's showing the middle scope. The third, Ture, or the swift goddess, called the Ture. The Ture, the last Ture, is the swift goddess. It means to liberate from both samsara and nirvana for one's own benefit, which means the great scope of the Mahayana. So if you can recite with this awareness in mind, it's also very good. It's also this way of thinking and seeing the meaning of the mantra. It's one of the ways of the reciting the mantra. Normally the Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, if we put it into a line of verse, I prostrate to Venerable Arya Tara, who liberates beings from samsara with Tare, liberates us from the 8 worldly fears with Tutare, and liberates us from the illness with Ture. Tarema, Mother who liberates from samsara, Tutara, you who liberates from the 8 fears. Ture, you who liberates from all sickness, to you, the great liberating Mother, I prostrate. This is also possible to recite the mantra put into lines, into a verse. So there are different ways how it's possible to recite it. The Soha, please perfectly bestow every joy. This is one of the meanings. Please perfectly bestow every joy. This is one of the meanings of Soha in accordance to the teachings of the great master Ngulcho Dharmabhadra. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. There are 10 syllables. The first symbolizes the union of body, speech and mind, Vajra body, speech and mind. Then tare, tutare, ture, the three parts. It means to liberate from the lower realms of existence, to liberate from samsara, and to liberate from both conditioned existence and nirvana for oneself, which means to reach the ultimate state of Buddhahood. So please grant me, the Soha means please grant me the union of great bliss and emptiness, the perfectly bestow every joy. So this is the way of how to recite the actual mantra. Which is the way to recite the mantra? There are different ways of recitation actually. Generally speaking, when you recite, how to do the way, what type of mala you need. In the great explanations of the generation stage, there is explained. Here it's not particularly explained. The mantra, the mala that you use to count the mantras, as it is practice of Tara. If it's possible to have like a green mala, according to the color of the body, it's very good. If that is not possible, it's possible from the Bodhi tree, the seed of Bodhi tree. This is the best variant. Then you put on the two sides of Vajra and the bell the counters of mantra, the mantra counters, to count the thousands and to count the 10,000s and so on. If you can have in this way, it's very good. Otherwise, there are many different methods to count the mantras. Also, while reciting, you need to eliminate the eight mistakes of recitation. When proclaiming the mantra, don't recite too quickly, too slowly, not too loudly and not too softly. Don't converse with others and don't be distracted, or recite the Anuvasra and the Visarga improperly. When reciting, you cannot recite too fast, like without saying all the syllables, or like mixing one syllable with the others. It's not of great benefit to do in this way. Another way, you should also not recite too slowly. That's also not okay. If you're too fast, it's not good, or too slow, it's also not good. When proclaiming the mantra, don't recite too quickly or too slowly. Not too loudly and not too softly. Don't recite the mantra too loudly. Some people recite the mantra very loudly, but this is not the correct way. Some people, when reciting the mantra together, some people recite the mantra, if it's not reciting loudly, they are not able to recite. We should not make in this way. Not too strong, not too loud. So we should not recite the mantra in a way that other people around us can listen to it. And some people recite extremely too softly also, which we call mental recitation, which oneself cannot even listen to it. This is not what we are doing now. It's not mental recitation, it's verbal recitation. So we need to recite in a way that oneself needs to be able to listen to it. We need to just recite at a volume that oneself can actually listen, but others cannot listen around us. Don't converse with others and don't be distracted. You cannot, as while reciting the mantra, talking and doing other types of actions. So, not talking about many other things, and in the middle, like while you are doing the mantra and doing many other actions and activities and talking to others, you shouldn't do in this way. Best is you should do the mantra by having clear appearance and divine pride and so on, but you need to focus on the mantra, not doing other things in between. And recite the Anusvara and the Visarga improperly. So which means to put all the sounds of especially the sound of the tigli, which means the sound of M, the M, mam. You need to put all the E, U, the vowels and all the sounds need to be clearly said. Whatever is the sound in the mantra needs to be correctly recited. So in this way, by freeing oneself from the 8 wrong ways of reciting. So, if your mind is going to another way, it doesn't matter how many millions of mantra you may recite, you don't get results out of it if your mind is not in the right way. You don't get results if you do not direct your mind correctly. Next is the division of recitations. Generally speaking, there are two main types of recitation, which is called the hip recitation and the samaya recitation. Also mental recitation. There are different types of recitation. Here it's explaining mainly two types, what's called hip recitation and commitment recitation. Hip recitation is when you focus at the mantra rosary, like blazing with light, like very strongly, like light emanating. This is called hip recitation. And the visualization that was explained before, for one's own welfare and for the welfare of others, this is called commitment recitation or samaya recitation. Tamsigideba. This is the most important one. Most of the recitations that we do normally is called Tamsigideba or commitment recitation. While doing the recitation, the number of mantras, it's coming later. When reciting the mantra. When we finish the mantra, we need to do the 100 syllable mantra, Vajrasattva, and then also do the wisdom rain mantra. Especially when doing retreat, we need to do the wisdom rain mantra. Whatever is the main mantra we do. Here is Tara Chittamani. With other deities, there are many other mantras around, so normally we do with the main mantra. We do the wisdom rain. So when we finished accumulating the mantra, we need to do the wisdom rain mantra with Hongha Anze. The wisdom descending mantra, or the wisdom rain mantra, even though it's not explained directly in the sadhana, when doing retreat, we must do it. The way of reciting the wisdom rain mantra, we do Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha Hongha Anze, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha Hongha Anze, or Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Hongha Anze Soha. This is two possible ways of doing. Both of them are fine. When reciting the wisdom rain mantra, the visualization is a bit different. In the retreat explanations, it's very clear, but it's also explained here. You imagine, you see one's own body as the deity. With the mantra and the sit syllable, from it red light emanates. And they are all like hooks, red lights, like look hooks, going to all the Buddhas and blessing, requesting and bringing back all the blessings of the Buddha's body, speech and mind, which is called the secrets of the Buddha's body, speech and mind. And they reabsorb back into us, into oneself, and oneself is then blessed. This is what we should visualize. Here is explained in such way. This is the division of recitations. Then the next part is, then the fourth subject, we're on page 77 of the commentary. This is the fourth subject. Here's the amount of mantras that we need to recite. It's called the culmination of recitation. There are different forms of retreats. There is the retreat of signs, the retreat of numbers, and the retreat of time. When it told then the retreat of signs means that there is no number of mantras. By meditating in the sadhana, until you don't have a clear sign of realizations, you should not stop the retreat. It's called the retreat of signs. Normally it says that you should do at least like 1 million mantras when doing the retreat of signs. Some say that you should do the retreat until you don't have a direct sign of realization. This is the first type of retreat. It says time-wise, for a retreat of sign is 6 months. When you talk about the number retreat, most of the retreats that we do is regarding the number. We start with 100,000 mantras to 400,000 mantras. If you do 100,000 mantras, the wisdom rain mantra is 10,000. If you do 400,000 mantras, the wisdom rain is 40,000. Normally you make 10% of the amount of the main mantras. You do also the wisdom mantras, and in the end you need to make a peaceful fire puja. It's the normal way of retreat. When you're making a great retreat, then in that case you need to make 10 million mantras. When you make a long-term retreat, on minimum is 1 million mantras when making a longer retreat of Aryatara. In the same way also, the wisdom descending mantra, you should always make a 10%. Whatever number of mantras you do, you should do a 10% of the wisdom rain mantra. This is the way the amount of mantras to do. The fire puja also. Normally, not just when you do a small normal retreat, you do a normal fire puja. When you do a long retreat, then you can make the complete fire puja retreat also. This is explaining about how to do a great retreat, which is something separate. Most of the retreats that we do, what we have just said before, it's more than enough. You do 100,000 mantras. It is normally in this way. Then we enter into the third part of the session, which is how to end the session, which I'm not going to give the oral transmission. We are in page 78 of the commentary. So then now we are in the part of the end of the session, which has 3 sections. If we follow the actual sadhana, after finishing the mantra recitation, we start with Padma Sattva Samaya, and we do the Vajrasa Sattva of 100 syllable mantras of Amitabha. Then after that we do offerings, short offerings, and then we do prayer, short praise. Torna più vadero. At page 102, we have the actual dissolution. We have the end of the session, 3 parts: how to withdraw the visualization, how to define absorption, how to meditate on the subtle drop, and the offering of Dharma. In the actual sadhana, we're in page number 103, appearing clearly as the deity, light radiates, reaching all worlds and its beings. All worlds transform into the celestial mansion, and all beings is supreme deity. So as the light emanates, all the environment around us becomes like the mandala of Aryatara, and all the beings in it becomes in the aspect of Aryatara. Then all the worlds, all in the universe, melt into light and dissolve into all beings, appearing clearly as the deity. They melt into light and dissolve into me. They also dissolve into light and then dissolve into me. The deities of the 5 wheels dissolve into the principal mother at my heart. I also melt into light from above and below and dissolve into the deity at my heart. This is showing the way of dissolution very clearly in the text itself. The whole container and content, the environment in its beings dissolves into light. This is the same. Then, as it comes, basically, the taras from the secret chakra absorb into the navel, the crown to the throat to the heart, and the navel to the heart. This is when we say that we dissolve both from above and below to above. In the text, so I also melt into light from above and below, and dissolve into my deity at the heart. This is becoming it's like causes in order to be able to develop the tumo. It's like becoming a cause to be able to develop the tumo. The one that the absorption from below to above, and the absorption from above to below is becoming the cause in order to develop the 4 joys. In the text, it says, I also melt into light and above and below and dissolve into the deity of my heart. In the commentary, it's very clear that the absorption from below, it's in order to develop tumo, and the absorption from above is in order to develop the four great joys. Then all the deities absorb into the oneself as the Buddha Aryatara dissolve into the heart deity, the blue Tara at the heart. Then the deity Tara dissolves into the mantra rosary, that dissolves into the tam, that melds into the syllable hung, and so on. Generally speaking, this dissolution order, there are two different ways of making this dissolution order. If we look in the actual sadhana text, it says the deity melds into light and dissolves into the rosary, that dissolves into the syllable tam dissolves into the hung, and so on. But in the other way of doing, we say first the mantra dissolves into the hung. The mantra rosary dissolves into the hung. Then the hung dissolves into the tam, and then gradually the tam dissolves from the bottom up to the head of the tam, and so on. These are the two different ways of visualizing. So when we recite, we can recite differently than how it's in the sadhana. There is a different way of reciting also. If we can recite also in the other way, it's also good. Both of them are fine, but as following the way how Paponka Rinpoche and Trijang Rinpoche and so on teached, there is a little different way of the dissolution. If we follow the actual sadhana, as we have here, the deity melts into light and dissolves into the mantra rosa, that dissolves into the tam gradually until it dissolves until the nada. It means it dissolves into tam, dissolves into the hung gradually from above to below, dissolves until the crescent moon and until the nada. And the nada also becomes smaller and smaller until it dissolves into emptiness. The nada also dissolves then into emptiness. Then in this moment we meditate on emptiness. From within the state of emptiness, I arise in just like one fish coming out of a lake, or like suddenly one rainbow appearing in the sky. I arise in the body of the Venerable Mother, with a complete body, with all the different ornaments, and the complete aspect of Aryatara we appear. This is one of the ways of the final withdrawn or absorption. The other form of withdrawn is good if you can we can write it down, and you can make the practice in a little different way than the one that we have in the common sadhana. The next part is called How to Meditate on the Subtle Drop. The meditation of the subtle drop. At the tip of one's own nose, we visualize one blue, one white vajra, which at the center of it, the size of the center of the vajra is just like the size of one pea. And inside of it, it's a very, very small, but within the size of it, in the center of it, we visualize Aryatara, which is just the size of one small grain. Then we visualize Tara, very small as a grain, and the tip of one's nose, we visualize this. At the heart of the Tara, we visualize the syllable tam, and around that we visualize the mantra Tara to Tara to Soham. By keeping one's visualization single pointed on it, this is called also the subtle drop meditation. This is one of the ways of meditating. For beginners, when we have a little bit of mental dullness, thinking and excitement, or mental agitation, if you meditate a subtle drop, this is helpful. It was also explained before. It's the same here. So furthermore, for a beginner, we can visualize the subtle drop from time to time to forcefully eliminate mental thinking and excitement. So, in order to eliminate mental sinking or mental dullness and mental excitement or agitation, it's good to make the subtle drop visualization. Once you can cut the mental sinking or excitement, then you go back to the normal visualization. Generally speaking, from other texts, it says that once you have mental sinking and you meditate on the tip of the nose, and when you have mental agitation, then you meditate at the drop at the lower end of the central channel. But even though in other texts like this, in this case it says to, in both cases, to visualize at the tip of the nose, both if you have mental dullness or mental agitation. In order to cut mental dullness and agitation, we meditate on such subtle drop at the tip of the nose. Generally speaking, during the general into the gross generation stage, we don't have yet the complete state of shamatha. So when entering the actual subtle generation stage, then it's the actual moment when it's truly possible to develop the actual shamatha, calm abiding. After completing the growth generation stage, in order to develop the subtle generation stage, it's also possible to make this visualization of the subtle drop at the tip of one's nose. This, once you are able to keep this, is also helping to develop the subtle level of the generation stage. So it's only inside the subtle generation stage that you can actually develop the actual calm abiding. It is like that. So here, in the commentary, and the way how we recite is a little different. So if we see the way of the commentary, the offering of the torma is coming afterwards. Normally in the way how we recite, we do the torma offering before. The way of thinking is a bit different. So I'm going to give now here the transmission of the oral transmission.
대양 배제기 튕기 가로 내년도 배구 제양 최선 밤에도 제반에 최선 영양 밤에도 제반에 예조가 고심을 총시 매세 배제 동세도 로디 이자 주지라 튕당 튕당 이수 제양 튕기 유유 동시 배제 튕상만이 임배 대매도 다의 튕기 제망의 소 대나 튕리 연천당기 내조라 내기 기나 튕상기 나 튕기 내조라 보든지 튕기 튕상기 내조라 보든지 튕당 튕상 나 지로 주소 나 지조 소 지송대 제조라 사주 신도 채워 유르베 튕상기 내조라 대대기도 차오 튕상기 내조라 내년도 차오
So now in the offering of the Dharma, page 80 of the commentary. So in the sadhana, when you do, like if you do 4 sessions, the Dharma offering of the Dharma, you do need to do only at the last session. You don't need to do it. If you can offer at every session, it's good. Otherwise, it's enough to do only at the last session. You must do at least at the last session the offering of the Dharma. Normally, when you do the sadhana, normally you do this, that you do the Dharma offering. First you need to bless the Dharma, page 85 of the sadhana. So the blessing of the Dharma is just as the blessing of the inner offering. It's the same visualization as the inner offering visualization. It's the same way like it transforms into a great ocean of uncontaminated nectar. So we may imagine something to drink, like an ocean of uncontaminated nectar. Even though it may appear like this, once we bless it, it appears in the clear aspect of the Dharma like a food. It's something like food, something to eat, not to drink. Even though it initially appears like nectar, it's transformed into something that is actually to eat, not like liquid anymore. In the appearance, such like a cake, like a Dharma. This is like how the gurus of our previous lamas of the lineage have explained. Once having blessed the Dharma, as we follow through the sadhana, it says, from the sit syllable at my heart, light rates invokes the Venerable Mother together with all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and their retinue. Page 85 of the sadhana, in English. After blessing the Dharma, from the sit syllable at my heart, light rays radiate and invoke the Venerable Mother together with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and their retinue. This we are not offering to oneself. The offering of the Dharma is we invite in the space in front of us, we invite Aryatara together with all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and to them we make the offering of the Dharma. So we need to, once we invite the guests of the Dharma in front, in the sky in front of us, in the space in front of us, once they are in the free space in front of us, Aryatara and all the retinue and all the others, from their tongue, like there is like in the, like sort of a straw, we call Vajra straw. It's like a straw that we use nowadays, like a small pipe. It's like a straw that touches the Dharma and sucks back the essence of the Dharma. So we imagine in such way. So here it's basically like a straw, like a small pipe that goes into the Dharma, and from which we can somehow suck, from which comes the essence of the Dharma towards Aryatara and the other Buddhas. So from that it is like sucked the essence of the Dharma with light. from the like light goes inside the straw, and at the end all the essence of the torma in form of light goes from the torma towards Aryatara. This way we imagine that Aryatara is experiencing and enjoying the torma offering. As we do, we say Om Aryatara Saparivaridam Brinda Kaka Kahi Kahi. As we do this mantra, as we offer them the torma. In this moment, we do the mudra of holding of the two hands looking upwards, like if we were holding the container of the torma. And we imagine that we hold the torma in our own hands, like the container of the torma in one's own hands. So before making the offerings, when we keep the two hands looking upwards in this way, it imagines like if we were having the container of the torma in our own hands before making the actual offering. And in this way, we actually offer the torma. Omo Aryatara, which means Aryatara means the superior Tara. Saparivara means together with your retinue. Idam means this. Balinta means torma. Kaka, kahi, kahi means eat, eat, in the honorific form of eat, eat. Kaka means eat, eat. Kahi, kahi means the honorific form of eat, eat. So please take, please enjoy. It is way we offer. If we translate directly, means eat, eat. The meaning is we are making this offering. This way we offer the torma. By making such offering tormas after it, we imagine that by making these offerings, Aryatara experienced the great new sensation of great bliss and emptiness, extreme joy. So from the body of Aryatara, many coral light emanates, fulfilling all the needs and wishes of of oneself and sentient beings. Whatever is our main virtuous wishes, they are all fulfilled. We imagine in this way. After that, we make the outer offerings, starting from Argam. This we don't need to repeat, we know. And after that, we can make praises, such like we make the praises, such as the 21 Taras and so on. Then we can make other prayers also here, as if we see also in the sadhana here, we have different praises to Aryatara. As you see in page 88, we start with one of the praises. And then inside of this we have also other prayers such as Lektima or Lumema, the different praises of Aryatara. So if you are doing retreat, you have an image of Aryatara or like a tanka or a statue or something like this that you prepare. If you are placed where there is no any particular image of Aryatara and you do the sadhana, it means you don't have a basis of visualization. If there is a basis of visualization, then you imagine that the visualization absorbs and becomes stable in the base of visualization. If there is no base of visualization, then Aryatara go back to this natural abode. These are different ways of reciting and visualizing. Because if there is a basis of visualization or not, from the body of Aryatara, light comes in, and then the Aryatara in the end of the offering comes and absorbs into oneself, blessing one's own mind, blessing one's own self. This is also very good to think in this way. I'm going to go now with the oral transmission of the next part. Next is how to practice in between the meditation sessions, page 82 of the commentary. Generally speaking, after making the offering of the torma, we make stabilize the deity and then we invite back, and after that we do the completion with the dedications. In the actual self-generation, there is no need to do the ormat offering. In the commentary, it's just following the self-generation directly. That's why there is no torma offering in the order of the commentary. Because if you do the torma offering, then you can place it in between. It's not part of the actual self-generation practice. Torma offering is always to the frontal generation. Where you invite Aryatara with all the retinue to whom to make such offerings, not to offer to oneself as Aryatara. Some great masters says you shouldn't make the torma offering. For torma offerings in order to request blessings and realizations, and you cannot request that from oneself to oneself. That's why you don't make the torma offering to oneself as the deity. So here, when we make the torma offering, we make the torma offering to the frontal generation as we invite Aryatara. In this way, when we finish the meditation session, we enter in between the meditation sessions. My Guru, you always say it's very important how you do the period between the meditation sessions, the session breaks. Even if you're very careful during the meditation session and in between meditation sessions you are not careful, there is not much benefit. If you do all sorts of things and there are all sorts of distractions, it will all come during the meditation session back again to you. That's why you need to be very careful in the way how you act in between the meditation sessions. My Guru always used to say this to me, and in the commentary is just saying in this way, we pass most time in between meditation than in the actual meditation sessions. If you do things well in between the sessions, then it will help also at the actual meditation session. And if we do well in the meditation session, it will help also in the breaks between meditations. And one will help the others and will help us to accumulate also a lot of merit. For that reason, I say, please practice carefully in between the meditation sessions, in the meditation breaks. So in the practice, we can divide it into 5 different: the yoga of daily actions, the yoga of washing, the yoga of eating, the yoga of sleeping, and the yoga of rising together with the final absorption, the yoga of waking up. We start with the yoga of daily actions. So, whatever appears to us, it appears just as part of the mandala. Oneself, we see oneself as the deity. Even in between the meditation session, our normal daily actions, we see oneself as inseparably of Aryatara. So everything that we see as manifestations of Aryatara. Everything that, all the sounds that we listen, we imagine as the sound manifestations of the sounds of Aryatara. Everything that we think and we remember, we think all manifestations of the mind of Aryatara. In essence, everything that appears to us, we imagine that appears purely in the nature of great bliss. This is the way, according to the Vajrayana, how to control one's own senses. Normally we always say you need to control your senses. The normal way of controlling one's own senses and the way of in Vajrayana is a bit different. In the Vajrayana, this is the difference. That's something that you need to do carefully. It is like this. Generally speaking, in the common way, in the common path, the way of controlling one's own senses, it's giving a lot of explanations about it. In this particular case, we need to protect our doors of our senses by seeing everything in a pure way, seeing oneself as the deity and everything that manifests as manifestations of the deity. This is how to do the yoga in the daily actions. Next is the yoga of washing. When we wash ourselves, we imagine mainly Pandharavarsini, together with the other 5 Buddhas and the 5 mothers. The 5 fathers and the 5 mothers. There are countless Buddhas holding vases with wisdom nectar, and they throw the nectar that fills our body completely. When we do the empowerment, the 5 mothers have the intention, and the 5 fathers give the intention. The 5 mothers, the one actually placing the nectar on us. Similar to this, when we are washing, while like washing the face and washing the body and so on, when you do the same visualization, you can recite the verses also. And in this moment, you imagine that you are receiving nectar coming from the 5 fathers and mothers and filling your body with nectar, entering through the crown of your body, filling your whole body, eliminating all negativities, and developing an inner state of great bliss. Very similar to what we visualize when we receive the vase empowerment. Even if you cannot do it in such way, when you are washing your face or having a shower and so on, if you could at least recite the mantra of purification and imagine that the negativities are being purified, it's also good. And with this you imagine that you are like cleansing your body and mind and so on. This is also very excellent to purify one's own body and mind. It's said that it has of great benefit, as it was according to our lineage guru's speech. This is the yoga of washing. Then there is the yoga of eating. The yoga of eating, generally speaking, when we eat, those with great morality. Now, when we're eating something with a breaking morality, it's like almost the example that is giving, like one full ordained monk that is eating without the correct attitude, which is like eating debts, because you are receiving offerings without having the right attitude. It's like if you are accumulating debts. Bodhisattvas, when receiving food, they do sort as, it's like you somehow, it's like it's said to eat in the aspect of the master, which means like the holder of a household somehow. But the secret mantra practitioner, the Vajrayana practitioner, should eat as basically like making like an inner fire puja or an inner Gana chakra. This is a way of how to help us to eat in a positive way and to transform the eating into a way of accumulation of merit with great benefit. On top of that, as we eat, we bless the food as we bless the inner offering. We transform the food into nectar. and then we make this offering of the food, then we have two benefits. Anyhow, we need to eat. So together with the eat, as when making the offerings of the food, we make the blessings such as like the inner offering, transform it into nectar, and offering to all the deities of the body mandala. So I'm going to go now through the oral transmission. is the Yoga of Sleeping, page 84 of the commentary. Yoga of Sleeping. When you lay down, you imagine that you place your head in the lap of the Venerable Mother of Verbo Aryatara and go to sleep without being interrupted by other conceptions, other thoughts. So imagine that you put your head at the legs of Aryatara and you make a prayer to Aryatara. So in order to be aware of dreaming, we should not give up our own identity as the deity, as Aryatara. When falling asleep, there is one meditation of meditating on the dissolution of the elements, which is also very good. Even if you do know that, in the moment of sleeping, you imagine that the place where you are, you imagine that is that actual mandala, the pure land of Aryatara. The mattress where you are, you imagine that is the lotus with the moon cushion. Or myself, you see yourself in the complete aspect of Aryatara, but without all the different ornaments. Not with the normal clothes and so on of Aryatara. It's like ready to go to sleep. And one's own pillow is the legs of Aryatara. So we're sleeping at the lap of Aryatara, ourselves also in the aspect of Aryatara without all the ornaments. And then if you want to be aware of the dream, when before falling asleep, you fall asleep making the request to Aryatara, please bless me so I may be able to recognize the dreams as dreams. So may be able to exercise such as purifying, transforming, increasing, meditating on the emptiness and so on in our dreams. Maybe we're able to see Aryatara, to meditate during the dreams and so on. Because it's become a very long explanation, we don't go into the details. The commentary is not going into details about that. If we have a correct view of reality, if you have a stable view on the correct view of reality, then you meditate on the dissolution of the elements. Then you meditate that the mandala dissolves into one body dissolves into the home into the tam, and gradually dissolves everything until it all dissolves into emptiness. Together with that, with the mind, with the awareness of the lack of inherent existence, and if you fall asleep within the awareness of the lack of inherent existence, all your sleep will become very virtuous. This is explained in this way. To meditate on the transformation of death into the Dharmakaya in the moment of falling asleep. So having all the different signs as such as earth dissolves into water, having the mirage sign, so and so on. All the dissolution of the elements. If you can meditate on that, on the dissolution of the elements, or the process of death as you fall asleep, is very good also. Then when you wake up, just like when a fish comes out of water in an instant. The next subject is the yoga of rising. When waking up, you imagine they're like the 5 mothers, and they're singing melodious songs and proclaiming sounds of mantras and so on that wake up. So we are waked up by all the sounds of the different Buddhas, of the 5 mothers, singing songs and mantras that wake us up. And in the end, all the different 5 mothers, they absorb into us as we wake up. This is also one important way of thinking when waking up. Such as Pandara Varsini and so on that wake up, and as they say, the sounds they recite, the 10 syllable mantras like the mantra of Tara with beautiful melodies, we are waking up in this way. And as we said before, the place where we sleep, we imagine that we are in the actual pure land of Aryatara. Yulukubit, the name of the pure. The mattress, the bed, is like a lotus and moon with a moon disk, and we arise in the aspect of Aryatara without ornaments and hand implements. When we wake up in the same place in the lotus. The bed is like the lotus with the moon disk, and we wake up in as Aryatara with the implements and so on. And the Aryatara that we were placing our head at her lip, it absorbs into us as we wake up. This is when you wake up, it's like when different on the empty sky that appears different clouds with colors of rainbows, similar to that. For in an instant, we appear in the aspect of Aryatara. If we have already trained in the generation stage and we are meditating in the completion stage, at this very lifetime, it's possible to develop the illusory body or the rainbow body. If not that, if we want to truly practices very strong and well, by making such requests and so on, it's possible to sit in one's own lifetime, to see directly, have a direct experience of seeing Aryatara and listening, and to increase one's own realizations of the path and the bhumis. If not that, at least, at the moment of death, it's possible to be guided in the moment of the bardo and be guided to be reborn at a pure land and be taken care by Aryatara from life to life. So Aryatara brings special blessings and very fast realizations and blessings also, with special qualities to help us to get out of samsara with great compassion. That's why the name is called Droma, the Liberator. Many great masters, most of the great masters of the past, they have all relied upon Aryatara as an idam. So there have been many like this. In this way we conclude the part of the generation stage. From tomorrow we will start the reading and explanation of the completion stage. We conclude here for today. So please put into practice in the best of your abilities whatever have been taught, and we dedicate our merits. Kebra jetsun losan drapai tembe nimbo rindo saje sho shuro on benza bumi ahu wanje sege sashi on benza reke ahu Chijari koryoge korwe sori kyaborira shara lupa polho zambuli no palanche chandramini ngayabda ngayabshin yunden da lamje draminin da draminin geda Rinpoche riwo pasange shin duche yepa Mame payo loto korlo Rinpoche, norbu Rinpoche, tsumu Rinpoche, lombu Rinpoche. Rinpoche, deshin boyo bumba gema, tenwa ma, lu ma, karma, meto ma, dubu ma, nase ma, tinche. Nima dawa Rinpoche, tu chile nambra gyalwe gyanse, usul hadami penjur punsun sopa ma tsangwarame, tsangshin yitu wongwa tetra trinchen tsawa dan gyubra chib, pande lama thamba namda kebra tuya yonzo tembe ngat, Sherab Rinpoche. Sambo Shengane Samu Lekbra Tobe Kadrin Tangragi Yundu Shing Druwe Tundu Shikso So Shene Kyandaso Namge Tada Nyambe Simchen Tamche La Tu Tsewa Chimbu Gun Chudan Tumo Gingudru Malu Patse Du So Cho she me to Tamare Rab Inde Gempadi Sangye Shinto Te Ulwarki Drokunam Daishin Chöpar Shoje Lame Kutserapten Chinam Karatingale Chochu Gepadang Lo Santempe Drun Me Sasomge Drowe Musela Taktu Egyurche Dam Guru Ratna Mandrala Kam Niryata Yami. So the conclusion of the prayers that we started this morning. Nyurdo da Pama Droma Drupgurune Drowa Chikyang Malupa Te Sala Kuparesho Zimbro Laupe Lea Tsempe Kugon Chodo Desogi Namkra Gewe Tekcho Gewe She Tseni Dembe Jesu Zimbra Sho Te Chinle Sibe Punsola Shenlo Ngechun Chakpo Gyukulte Munjo Chancho Choto Simgene Jindru Dush Tsovara Sho Lebenle Tumiedia Sonra Sho Savse niso mebe nel gioragi, shiso lezzo nirdun lundrubusho, macho dorje lugi potran cheya, tsason korlo shi gekselne, trube pe mora gawa yonkilte, tamyi gombe chingu selwarash, Dejan tenwo trishun kachur tu shukne timda regora sheshi so gombe tongshi jambe vesele nando gyumel hagur dangwara sho chitre tigle une adang ham parza kajuro lungi trukulte ribon chenge chashe shuwe gyum Lumbe tsende lini barwara sho, rimge babe gawa shitom, jarwe deton yeshe ngongyuru sho, nyingdo gendo gyurwe tsanang kun, lekan tsanwe chinsa rab chingshin, kunde chugi lukun yongyabe, lenge dewe gatan barwara sho, Tetse tsalon tigle nenamla Nuba nyene shinga draki me. Ponye lamsa tsushin temba ye. Dorje changwa tsedir topra sho. Shenyang jalu waku drupadang. Nyurlang pompe takshin drupe tap. Pardu neka longko dangwa so. Tapke chepe nenam tarchin sho. Dorna tengne chanchu nimbe bar. Chomden jetsun drume jesungte. Salam drube gekme tarchine. Songjo kushe kopa nyurtobsho. Mechon seche gyawe chinlabdam. Mepe dembadam. Dagi Hasan tabe nutopki. Namda mebe nekun druparesho. Lamda yiden kyun churbu yonkan pamel hatsogi. Tüsun gyawa kete nyurkyoma. Trashi shoya chöbün getri nimbo gyudeshi. Kebra ngeson tartu jetsume. Rimni chöso londo tamche. Gele punson tsope trashi sho. Traye ngotsara shinsho pawo dang. Pamu wancho lukde tambe che. Chonsam zimba yenche gendungi. Gele punson tsope trashi sho. Dorna gyalkun tukche tercheme. Karge wambo ngoso shal sikshin. Songe dutse geshin jetsonwe. Gele punson tsope trashi sho. Rabden chin nam karatin. Ne gyurchi. Rinpoche treng songcho nal temba insa korwa le drotare ma nyema konsa tsangma dendan shenye chiyore. Rinpoche labding chik tema chik konsa nyemda chik den chubuche. Korwa le ya dro ya tare ma tutarai jige trol ture nawaya namle trol drol mayumla chatse alo korwale drol tarema totarai jigedrol tore nawa namle trol drol mayumla chatselo tarema Sara. Tutare, you who liberates from the 8 fears. Ture, you who liberates from all sickness. To you, the great liberating Mother, I prostrate. Mi men serve ter chen chen resi di me kempe wampo jampe liang du pong ma lu jom tse sang we da kan chen ke pe so gen song ka pa lo sang trak pe shabla asol wa de. We conclude in this way for today. Tomorrow again at 10:30.